I wish we had the whole day just to sit with Margaret and to share with you your experience. But what I want us now to end this program before doing is to tell our viewer how you ended up forgiving this gentleman and what processes did you have to take yourself through for that to happen, and where are you at in the stages that he was describing, acknowledging, forgiving, and actually now healing. Where uko wapi sahi, and what is the status? Are you together or that's another story for another day?
We are not together for now. At that time when I saw him beating me in front of my landlord, that was the day I decided to leave, because I said, now the next time this man will kill me, maybe. I left. We were separated for 3.5 years. I stepped aside so that maybe he can work on himself, because when I did my self-analysis, I realized the challenge was not me. I realized the challenge was him. It didn't even take 1 month. He already had another woman in the same house where I was, the same room, the same bed, the same mattress, the same everything. So I was very bitter. I had to go back to our church in shame, embarrassment. You know, you are a pastor. I could not stand on the pulpit. Yeah. I had to sit down, but I really want to thank God because of my bishop, Apostle Vincent. He never called me Margaret even for 1 single day. He kept on calling me Pastor Margaret, Pastor Margaret, Pastor Margaret. So every day he would call me and he would remind me, you are a pastor, you are a pastor, you are a pastor. So he told me, even if this has happened, you have to accept it. I went through self-acceptance. I went through bitterness. I went through planning revenge against him, and the revenge was planned very well. Did you question
God also? Were you mad at God at some point?
At that time, you know, when you're planning all these things, they're not in accordance to the word. So I was on my own side. I went through forgiveness. I went through healing. And the best part that I went through was kujiamini. And even this year, I started a hashtag Jiamini. Believe in yourself. I woke up one day and I just told myself, Margaret, you are Margaret. There will never be any other Margaret like you. So before you die, you need to let the world know that there was a Margaret that coexisted.
This forgiveness you're talking about, what version is it looking like? Is it internal forgiveness and saying that in my space, in this new circumstance that I am in, I will forgive myself, forgive that person and move on? Or is it forgiveness that even ended up you communicating to that person that I know you hurt me, but I've let go and we are good?
The first forgiveness that I did was for myself. Because everybody was like, if you did not say yes to him, or maybe you did not date him long enough.
This wouldn't have happened.
But I want to say that he still had a good side. He was not a demon. You get? Because after 3.5 years, when he approached me back, I said yes.
So that's when you went back?
Yes. And we got a second baby. Who totally looks like him. A very beautiful girl.
So ulisahau hiyo yote, Margaret. You forgot all that.
True forgiveness is when you acknowledge that somebody has got a weakness, but you choose to see beyond the weakness that is in the person.
Kuna weakness unaweza look beyond.
So I chose to see beyond, because do you know, now if I become a little bit spiritual.
Yeah, it is powerful, yeah.
Each and every one of us has got a weakness. That man is married to you, that woman is married to you, not because you are an angel, but because the person has chose to see beyond your weakness, because you're beyond your weak points. Because do you know there are men who cheat, there are women who cheat, they drink, they squander money, but they're happily married. Look at their wives, look at their husbands. They go to church every Sunday. There are no cases of violence. Yani, they have reached a self-acceptance level. This is who he is, this is who I am. Kanyaga twende. You understand? Everybody has got a weakness. So long as it is not life-threatening.
So so you went back, you guys were good. How was this part 2 marriage? Just in summary, and now that you're telling us you guys are not together, we are kind of like, what really happened? You forgave? Because we are trying to be as realistic as possible.
For the show?
We should advocate for part 2, because hiyo ni story ingine.
I need to take 3 pills of Panadol. to make me try to forget the headache, because after forgiving him, coming back, it was like he was not sincere in the forgiveness. I was sincere in the forgiveness. He was not sincere in the repentance. I was sincere in the repentance. So it's like now, because I've accepted myself, I've bounced back. Now I'm back to being financially stable. So he was like, if I go back, and now he was the one who is down. If I go back, I just pretend a little bit, things will be well. He came with another intention of grabbing another lot of money, but now he found me stronger,
so
wiser.
Forgiveness has to be two-way. That's what I'm picking from what you're saying, right? You finished, going through your healing process. Right now, you guys are not together. You're separate.
We are not together.
But I want to hear from you within. Do you feel like you forgave regardless? You healed regardless of whether you guys are together or not? How just shika anything? You don't have any grudges?
I cannot have anything against him. Number one, all the two babies look like him. From nose to mouth, the way they eat. In fact, let me say the funniest part: the behind of my son is like exactly like his. So if I say I still have anything against him, I am cursing my children.
Yeah, that.
My children bear his DNA. My children bear his name. That is blood. The kids are innocent. For the sake of my children, I let go everything, because every day I see them, I see him. My daughter is beautiful, my boy is handsome. Automatically, the dad is equally what? Handsome. So I have to live with a constant reminder that these children have got a source. And that is, the happiest part of it. When my son is called Otieno in school, I don't have anything bitter about it. That is where God knew that these two amazing angels are going to come from. Even when he went on social media and said, even this girl, other girl is no man, I said, that is crap, that is rubbish, that's nonsense. My child has got a source, and God knows the source. And because of that, I don't have anything against you. You have got your own life, you have got your own destiny, you have got your own assignment to fulfill. My own is here with the children. My children must eat, my children must dress, my children must go to school, my children must grow up in the way of the Lord. Even today in the morning, I pray for him. My greatest prayer for him is because he was a pastor before everything. He backslid and went now into alcohol. Every time I go back on my knees, I normally pray, God, may you return him back to a place whereby he will go back to serving you. Not to a place whereby he come and be a husband to my children, because he's an original deadbeat. He has never done anything. I don't even think he will ever do anything. That is his own choice. But as for me, my children will never fail to go to school. My children will never fail to have clothing. I do 4 jobs in a day, just to ensure my children are afloat.
All right.
And because of that, I don't have anything against him. What if I was an original widow? What if the husband was dead? Would the children still not go to school? So I want to say this to every woman: stop all this thing. You're going to go to children's office for what? You've got hands, you've got legs. Work, provide for those children, and cover the nakedness of that their original biological father. That belongs to God. God was the one who orchestrated it like that. But for you, do your part.
All right. Pastor Margaret Kenye, I just feel like we needed the whole day, just like I started and said, we needed the whole day just to hear her story. I feel like we've really rushed through it, but our main objective was just to take you to the depth of what she went through. And she's here sitting today and saying she forgave everything. And she's even telling us she actually prays for that person these days. And she's actually proud that their children have a source. And that source is what at some point in her story gave her so much pain. But she has risen beyond that pain. And one thing that also teaches us this morning from your experience, Pastor Kenye, is you don't continue exposing yourself to a toxic environment just because to prove a point. It gets to a point where you have to love yourself enough to separate yourself from that toxic environment. And it doesn't mean you have not forgiven. It doesn't mean you're holding any grudges. It doesn't mean that kuna shida.
And there are some churches that don't even give you their pulpit to preach because you are a single parent. I just say, it's not a must I preach to your pulpit because you are married or not. There are mad people in the market. You can preach on Facebook, you can preach on radio, even here on CitizenTv. Am I not preaching?
All right. Thank you so much. Such a powerhouse, Pastor Margaret Kenye. She's a doctor as well. Don't forget that. A career woman, a woman who has gone through a lot, and she's just sharing her story to inspire you and to tell you that it is possible, that you can bounce back and you can actually tell that tale with a face that is smiling and tell people how you rose about.